So I'm here at the Isle of Man with one of its legends, with Mr. Milky Quayle. Hello, Milky.
Hello, sir. Hello. How you doing? You okay?
Very good, thanks. Milky is an unusual name, at least for me. Is it your real name?
No. This is just my nickname. So my real name is Richard.
Okay.
It's just that when I always said that I looked like the Milky Bar kid from a television advert when I was younger. So I've always been known as Milky, really. So okay. And also as well, I think when I was racing, it was something different than John or Richard. It was something different that made me stand out. Hopefully, so.
You don't look like a maniac to me, but still you competed in the TT and you won. A few races even. Can you tell us something about yourself? Were you born on the Isle of Man?
Yeah,
and when did you start riding motorcycles?
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate enough to be born in the best place in the world. You know, I was born on the Isle of Man. My dad was Manx, my granddad. You know, it's a generational thing. And when I was little, as a young boy, my dad would get me to sit on the hedge and I would watch the bikes go past, and I thought this is what I wanted to do when I grow up, you know. Yeah. So I was very fortunate enough to be able to do this, but you know, then to be able to do it and then be successful at it as well was a bonus, you know. So it's always what I've always dreamt of, being a TT rider. I didn't want to be a brain surgeon or anything like this, or a doctor, or I just wanted to ride my motorbike. Yeah. And so, you know, I've ridden motocross and at a young age. But this was only when I was old enough to go to high school. My mum wouldn't let me ride a bike before I went to high school. So once I went to high school, then I got my first off-road bike, and then I rode off-road. And then as soon as I was 16, you can ride on the road in the Isle of Man as soon as you're 16. I got my first road bike, and that was it. Then I was away, and then I'm a car mechanic by trade. So as soon as I was an apprentice mechanic and I came out of my apprenticeship, I had enough money then to go racing, and I financed it all myself, and I went racing on an RGV 250. And that was the start of it then, really. So just faster and faster and faster and faster. So that was all good.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine if you grow up here, there are no speed limits on the open road, that you can practice. But what about guys coming from other countries? I think you help them to be able to compete in this
ultimately
race.
Now that's my job now. I look after all the newcomers that come to the circuit for the TT, that want to learn the circuit, because you've just experienced it now. It's a very difficult circuit to learn. Lots of corners, very fast, very bumpy. So before you even turn up here and turn a wheel, you must know in your head what you're coming to. We have done. We basically, if you want to do the TT next year, we would invite you over in the next couple of months. We get you started now straight away, so you can try and learn it as quick as possible. Everybody takes in information in different levels. Some people can learn very easily, some people take a lot of time. So the only way to learn is by doing laps and laps and laps and laps.
You were so enthusiastic about this, and you were talking of this as a racetrack. You said it's the best racetrack in the world. It's absurd for me, of course. So let's talk about it like it was a racetrack, a real racetrack. What are the most dangerous parts and what are the most important parts?
Well, everywhere is dangerous. I must admit, you know, everywhere is very dangerous. Ultimately, you must treat it with respect. You must have to respect. I always say when you're riding the TT course, you cannot go out and grab it. You must let it come to you, because if you try to grab it, then you're trying too hard. You must let it come to you, and you know, remotely, because of the speed, it's so dangerous, because of the high speed. It's the highest speed track you'll find. You cannot get any faster. It's 200 miles an hour in virtually all everywhere, really. There's only a few little small places where you slow down, but the rest of it is full gas, fifth, sixth gear, and this is what makes it so special. You know, motorcyclists, we love speed, we love power, and this is what we want. I think anyway, myself. So like I say, everywhere is very dangerous. But you must treat it with respect.
Yeah. Are there any parts you don't like, where where it took a long time for you to learn?
Not really. There's nowhere that I dislike. The only little bit that's probably the most hardest is from Ginger Hall to Ramsey. There's like a 3-mile section just from here, and this is very bumpy. This is the only reason it's a problem, is because it's so bumpy. Yeah. It's very bumpy, and it's in the trees and dark, and you get a lot of strobe lighting effect through your eyes, so your eyes are focusing constantly. So this is difficult, but it's all beautiful. It's beautiful.
I mean, I was going maybe 150 at times today, and I thought it's not possible to go to 100 miles per hour. It's not possible, and 137 is the average speed, I guess.
132 is 132. So you're doing it in about 17 minutes. Yeah. But again, it's like anything. Whenever you do anything straight away, it's like, but once you get used to it, it just feels slow. It looks worse when you watch it on the telly. It looks worse than it actually is when you're on the bike.
I don't think so. But I guess the bikes have to be pretty special too. Can you tell us something about the settings of suspension?
Yeah, it does take a lot of setup as regards to the suspension for the bikes, but they're not dissimilar to a road bike. It's not like a short circuit bike where it has to be very stiff and hard, because it needs to ride the bumps. It needs a bit of flexibility in the chassis needs to flex rather than being braced. Like in short circuit, people brace the headstocks, they brace the swing arm pivots, they have a mega swinging arm all braced, so there's no flex from the power delivery. Whereas here, you need a flex and movement to soak the bumps up. Yeah. Whereas if you ride it a braced frame, it's like a bone shaker. It's terrible. I've ridden bikes before that have been just come straight from a short circuit to here, and they don't work. They take a lot of work to get set up. Yeah. As regards to the suspension itself, everyone has different preferences, but I always used to run like softer springs. I want the thing to move and flex a little bit. I mean, okay, that makes the bike lazy and doesn't want to turn, and you have to work it a bit harder, but this is good. You just have to sweat a bit more.
And also, the body position is different. You don't do a lot of hang-offs. You are straight up.
No. It's again, you stay very in line with the bike, basically, because if you do hit a bump mid-corner, then you cannot get back into position again. But you're not covering big lean angles for long durations of time. It's all a matter of being nice and smooth and letting it flow. And this is why it doesn't wear the tyres out like it would do on a short circuit. If we'd have just done what we've done on a short circuit, the tyres would be shredded and wrecked, whereas it looks like new. So it's all about getting in a flow and a rhythm and being nice and relaxed.
What do you think about the Suzuki GSX S1000 which we rode today? How do you like it?
Yeah, it's been lovely. I mean, I've ridden it now for 3 days. It's the 4th day I've ridden it today, and I've loved it. It's really, the engine's awesome, 1000cc Suzuki with the police siren going.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Where are they after me? But yeah, it's a 1000cc Suzuki engine. It's beautiful. Lots of power, which is ultimately, again, what we want. The riding position is very civilized. It's not racing, so it's not hard on your wrists or your neck, which is perfect again. So you have the best of both worlds. You have a nice, comfortable riding position, but also with plenty of power.
Most important thing. You were also talking about your helmet, because my friend here, he had a different helmet from another brand, and you said you couldn't ride with it because of the visor.
Yeah. Purely for the fact that around here visibility is a big issue, because you're going 200 miles an hour. You need to have good visibility because you're approaching things so fast. Now for around here, I've run ones before with curved visors, and because you have such a big problem with visibility as regards to flies, insects. You can see here now we've only gone quite slow and we've got quite a lot of flies. If you have to run lots of tear-offs, or at least 2 tear-offs. Mm-hmm. For me, I only ran a maximum of 2 tear-offs, because you would go for half a lap and your visor would be full, so you'd have to reach up, pull your tear-off off, clear vision again for half a lap, another, and then you come into your pit stop again, then 2 laps. After 2 laps, you have a new helmet, new visor, ready to go again. So with the curved visors, the wind gets under, because the sheer speed, again, 200 miles an hour, the wind just gets under the tear-offs, and I've had it before when I've set off and I've got to the top of Bray Hill here, and I have no tear-offs left. And I think, I've got to do 2 laps now. So sometimes you'll see on some bikes, I used to run a tennis ball on the top yoke with a piece of sponge. Mm-hmm. And this is in case my tear-offs come, I still have an emergency, so I can reach over, get the sponge, and it clears my visor, and I have this tied on a piece of elastic, so it floats around. If I have not enough time to put it back in, it'll float around, and I can push it back in, then down the next straight. This is a get out of jail free card.
Cleaning your visor at 200 miles per hour. And what about the airflow or the form of the helmet?
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's I've always been an Arai man. You either have a shoey head or an Arai head, but the Arai helmet has always suited me. When I was in my racing career, I always ran Arai. I won with Arai. They just seem to suit me nicely, and there's no movement and distortion again, because as you come out of the bubble at 200 miles an hour, your helmet is buffeted around the wind pressure, so you need a nice firm fitting helmet that's nice and ventilating and gets lots of cold air into your head, because again, like you see, we are sweating even going slow. So you also, as well, you've got to remember you've got this on for almost 2 hours, so there's a lot of it needs to be light, aerodynamic, not too much movement, needs to be nice and steady. So again, good helmet design is very good, very important.
And you said maybe this saved your life. Did you crash with an Arai helmet?
Yeah, I've crashed here quite a few times with it. Again, like I say, I've always worn Arai, and they are a testament to why I'm here now, because they are good quality helmets.
And was a crash the reason why you stopped, or did you say, okay, it's enough?
Yeah, no, my wife was pregnant with a baby at the time, so I thought, well, I have to grow up sometime. I have to be sensible or semi-sensible. So yeah, this was the main decision really. So some people can race with children, but for me, I could not race when it was to have children. Yeah. It's one thing or the other. I have to concentrate on my bike or my family. I cannot do both, because then it's a bit like, for me, this is the way I am. Yeah, okay. So this is the choice I made, and I have a lovely family and I have lovely bikes, so it's all good.
All right, then you are a teacher now. Maybe I'm one of your future pupils.
Yes.
You never know. Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you. I hope you had a lovely day, and please come back again soon. Thank you.
Now we have a beer.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you.